Hey, hello everybody. Welcome back. It's been a while since my last video, and I had the idea of creating a series of videos related to the functions of the arrays, the array functions, the functions that come with the prototype of array, the native functions. Okay. That's sort, filter, map. We use map, but yeah, we use map. I don't think map. I don't think map will need a video, but we can probably go deeper on how it works. But I want you to understand some of the some of the functions that we use, and we don't know why happens what the way it happens, you know. So in this case we're gonna use sort, and we're gonna do something that you shouldn't be doing, and in this case it's gonna work, but in some other cases it won't work. And I know this because like 6 years ago it happened to me in an interview, and I was like, why this is not working? And the reason was the array was being mutated and the array was a state. And if you know something about React, is that the states cannot be mutated. States are not mutable. They are every time you set a new state, you reset that state, you give it a new value every time. If you set a state, it gets a new value. It's not changing the original. It's getting a new value. So you encounter some problems. I hope this was clear. So we have here I prepared a very simple array of numbers. We're gonna map them, and let's map them first. Okay, so in order to map, you have to do a numbers, then map. Now remember we're using TypeScript. So this should be like number, and then it is an array of numbers, and we're using map. So here this map needs to return a JSX. Okay, so it takes, as we know, the iterable. So in this case it's gonna be the number. I'm gonna put just an is an n. So, and then we are gonna take the I. We there's a chance that we can use it, or we're gonna need it. So number and number, and remember this map needs to return a JSX object. So I think I'm gonna just put a li, then the key. Remember, every time you use a map or iterate for rendering, you need to use key, because otherwise you're not making use of the virtual DOM. And React, that's the magic of React, the virtual DOM. So if you don't give a key when you are iterating, it probably won't even render in some cases, but you really need to give a key. So remember, the key needs to be unique. So in this case, what I'm gonna do is just put we can do a random. math random, and I'm gonna do it 100, and this has to be multiplied by 10 because it gives you a number between 1 and it takes yeah, it takes no arguments, but this thing here gives you a number between 0 and 1. So if you multiply it by 100, you're gonna get oh my god, where's the where's the okay, there it is. You're gonna get the number you're gonna get the number between between 0 and between 0 and 100. This is not ideal, guys. You shouldn't be doing this because random numbers can repeat. So you can do you can add a like do a interpolation here, like that, and then this is going to be a template string, and you are going to put an I there. This is still, there's a chance that can be repeat, so there's which will add a new complexity like an n. And I feel like it is repeatable, but it's gonna be harder. Okay, so we're spending too much time on the key, but I want you to know, okay, that the key is always needed on a iteration. Okay, you need to have this in mind. The key has to be unique. So normally you will use probably the data that you're getting because it will usually be unique. Just removing the spaces and use it as a key. So we are going to print the n, and then there we have the numbers. Those are these numbers right here. Okay, so here's a very quick explanation of the filter. Notice the filter, not the sorting. Sort. Today I'm going to talk about the sort. Okay, so I think that's a little too big, but it's gonna work for us. So sort. Okay. So sort is an array function. Array function is one of the native array functions. By native, I mean that it comes with JavaScript, with the prototype sort. Okay, so sort is the function that takes a callback. It takes a callback, and that callback takes two values. Why this is? Oh, because it's bigger than me. Okay, it takes a callback that takes two parameters, the a and the b, and they should be numeric because you're going to do subtraction here. Okay, so if this is very important, if the result of that subtraction is negative, the sorting is going to be descending, meaning larger numbers first, smaller numbers at the end. And if the result is positive, it's going to be ascending, meaning smaller numbers first, larger numbers at the end. Okay, pretty straightforward. So if we do this minus a, this is going to be always descending order. This is going to be always descending. Okay, we can get into the algorithm for this. I think it uses a sorting method called monkey something. It is not bubble sort and all of the things you learn on school. No, it is this uses very strong algorithms, but this is basically the idea. B minus 1 is going to return a negative, therefore it's going to be always descending. If you do this, a minus b, this is an implicit return, of course. It is going to be always ascending. Okay, make sense? So it takes the callback a and the callback and the parameters a and b, and then you should do subtraction. You should return the result of a subtraction, and if you pick first the b, it is always going to be descending. Well, always is going to be descending. We can go, as I said, we can get more into the weeds on how this is working internally, because it goes one by one comparing, and then it says, okay, this is bigger, so this is negative, so this is going to be first, and then it iterates through the whole array and basically puts them on the order that they have to be. But this is the rule. Negative, b minus a is gonna be negative. Not always. Not always if we are thinking about it in a each case based. But in the holistic way, it's going to be always a negative. And this is going to be always a positive. So let's prove our theory. Okay? So we have our numbers, right? How can I change this? Right? We have our numbers here. What is this? No. We have our numbers here, and let's see. Let's do this to make it smaller. I hope it looks good. So now let's create a sorter. Okay? So the sorter is just gonna be a button, and it's gonna be a sorter. Okay. and this is gonna say, let's create a const order and set order. Use state. I'm gonna use a 0 and a 1 just for, well, no, let's use an array, sorry, a string. So this is gonna be string. Type of string. Generics is another video that I want to create, but it needs its time of preparing, because it is a very, it's not complex, it is not the more complex thing in the world, but it needs some, you need to be prepared to explain a lot of weird concepts. So okay, this is gonna start as ask. This is failing because this needs to be inside the fragment. Remember, we should always return one element on JavaScript. Okay, always one element, and this is going to hold the order. Not very pretty, I gotta say. We can do a style just so it looks a little, there's no way to make this pretty. This is just functional things, okay? So what did I delete the order, and there's the button. Okay, so we want to click it, and every time we click it, we want it to sort them, but like ascending, descending, and that's gonna be super fun. Yay! Where's that effect? We found it last video. Okay, so for that, I'm gonna create a function called, function is gonna be not named sorter. It's going to receive the method. So this is gonna be ask or desk. So this is gonna be order, and it's gonna be string. So if order equals to ask, we're going to sort the numbers. Okay, we're going to sort the numbers in a ascending way. So first, it's important to know that filter, not filter, I always say filter, sort, the sort function, actually the sort function modifies the original array, and because of in this case the original array is an array, the original array is an array. The original array is a state. You cannot just use sort. It's probably gonna work because of the magic of React returning a reference of a new array, but it's not a good practice to use the array functions in 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 states. Okay, so if you shouldn't be doing this. Okay, so let's see what happens. Yeah, it breaks. It breaks. Why is it breaking? Are there? It should say something like, you're trying to mutate. It's breaking for something. Oh, oh yeah, yeah. This is an arrow function. So this is not breaking because, as I told you, the magic of React is doing its thing. But what happens if I use another one that doesn't do the magic of string? For instance, splice. If I do a splice, and then I do a 1 and a 5, when this tries to get applied, like if we do it here, let's do it here, sort. If we do sort, no problem, it sorts it as default ascending. Okay, but if we use a function that actually also modifies the array and does not return the reference, like sort, I'm thinking of a splice as this. If this is splice, this is a splice, and then we give it a 1. Well, it's not breaking either. So it is probably fixed with the new version of React. But I still wouldn't do this. No, there should be a downside of doing this directly. I will do this always. Always will do this. Even though we are seeing that it doesn't break, I will always do this. Okay? Why? Because we are creating a copy of the state, and we are mutating this copy of the state and showing it. So you should always do this. Always do this when you work on array functions. Okay? I don't know why this is not breaking. I think it's 1, 10, 0. Actually, splice takes the start number 0 and then the delete count 1. So probably this is actually failing. So splice. Well, I don't know if this is failing or not, but it is not doing what it is supposed to do, because it should be removing elements from an array, and this is not doing it. I mean, if I do this removes element, the start, and how many I want to delete, it just this should be like from 5 I want you to delete until 6, and we should be able to see the numbers, and we're not seeing the numbers. See, so this is breaking, but for some reason I don't, okay, let's prove my theory. Okay, let's prove my theory here. If we do a copy, still not working. Is it because we needed a refresh? What if we do a 5? What? Oh, see, yeah. So now it's working. Now it's working, but what if we use just the numbers? It won't work. See? If we use the numbers, it won't work. I don't know why this is not throwing an error. It should be. But it's not working. Why? Because this is trying to mutate the numbers. And the numbers is a state. And a state cannot be mutated. Let's see. No, it doesn't work, but if we do a copy of the numbers with the spread operator, it's gonna work. See? That's why you should always use the array functions over states with copy of them, and then probably set the result after you do the sorting or the splice or the split or whatever. So that's why I wanted to do it on a real component, so you can see that you cannot do, you shouldn't be doing this. You shouldn't be doing this. The sorting works, I think, for some reason, because I think it actually returns the reference, not the modify. It returns the reference to the modify array, and in this case it works. But this is React helping you. This is not something you should be doing. So too much talk and not a lot of action, so let's keep it numbers. Let's just do numbers. Okay, so they have no order. So I want them to be on order, like random, and then we click this and we're going to see the magic happening. Okay, so magical. Yeah, so on click on the sorter, we're going to do a sorter, and we're gonna send order. Okay, and that's the function for this. This thing is gonna just set this to the order, but if this is ask, I want it to be if this is ask, wait, I haven't drank my coffee. Okay, so this is if order is ask, this should be ascending, and if it's desk, it should be descending, and no, this should be ask. This is why this is not bullshit. You're seeing my errors. Isn't that great? See a guy failing on his 30s desk. And then, yeah. So the sorter does that. And it's going to sort the stuff. So I'm realizing that this button should be setting this sorter should be it shouldn't be sorting, it should be setting, set order. In this case we can use the direct one because we're not going to use the previous state. We're gonna use we are not gonna use the previous state of order, so we can use set order directly. And I want, just to make sure that our logic works, I'm gonna put here order. Okay, ask. So when you click on it, it doesn't change because yeah, very stupid mistake. Can you see it? If this is ask, why should we set it to ask? We wanted to toggle. So desk and then ask. Okay, so this should be working now. Yeah, so if I had the autocomplete turn on, it will be it will be fixing this. But now guys, we need to detox from AI once in a while, and today is my day to detox from AI. Okay, so now we need to make the sorter function work. So in order to do that, we are going to if the order is ask ascending, we're going to do a copy of the numbers. We're going to create a copy of the numbers like that, and we're going to do a sort. And remember, it takes a callback with a, everybody puts an A and a B because that makes sense, because they are consecutive, A and B, but you can use X and Y because they're also consecutive, but let's keep the conventions. So A is gonna be a oh, that's another thing, there need to be numbers, because otherwise how can they be subtracted? If you don't use numbers, it's gonna become weird very fast. The number, and here's where the magic happens. So we have order. Okay, order. So if order, I think we can eliminate this condition, so we can do just if order is equals to ask, let's do B minus A, otherwise do an A minus B. So descending, so descending, ascending. So this is desk. Okay, desk. If order is desk, it's gonna be, we're gonna return descending, and if it's ask, we're gonna return ascending. So what's the error here? Overlapping. Oh yeah, because of this, because this was never going to be desk. So yeah, so this is our sorter function, and it depends on the order. So we change it, and see, we change the order. So now the only thing we need to do is to set the state of the numbers with the new numbers. So const sorted numbers is equals to this, and we can do a set numbers sorted numbers. So let's refresh this, and it should be working. If I do a desk ask desk ask desk ask, it is not working. Let's see why. It returns the b minus a minus b.
Okay, so set numbers to sorted numbers. Let's see what you can sorted numbers. Sorted numbers.
Oh, you know why it isn't working? I'm telling you, I have not drink coffee today, so I'm gonna do it. Hopefully that's gonna help to not having these kind of stupid mistakes. So it's not working. It's not working because, okay, we are setting the order correctly, right? But we're never calling sorter. We're never using it. We're never using sorter. So we can do it here, or we can do it like, we can do it with a use effect. Every time that changes, use the order. Use effect, it takes a callback, and a dependency. Oh, what is this? A dependency. A dependency, and the dependency is gonna be order, and it's gonna use the sorter with the order. So this should be working now. Descending, ascending, descending, ascending, descending, ascending. So let's recapitulate this. You should never use the filter. You should never use an array modifier or an array order, an array of a sorter, filter, all of that directly here, because it might mutate or try to mutate the state, and that's not going to be allowed by React. Okay. And second of all, this is all for sorting. Descending, ascending, descending, ascending. Sort, returning this, is descending. Sort, returning this, is ascending. Okay? We can go later into the details of how that algorithm works, but that's what you need to know. And it needs to be numeric values, okay? That's why when you're sorting by date, for instance, you need to get the date.now of that date, because date.now gives you a timestamp, and that is a number, and they can be compared. You can be ordering by date. That same happens with strings. There's a function called local compare, which tells you if tells you the number. By the number, it tells you which one goes first. So okay, I think I'm gonna wrap this with this: descending, ascending. Okay, so I hope that was clear enough. It took longer than I expected because I'm a little stupid, but look at that, it works. So the next video is going to be a whole table with students, and we're going to be clicking on the headers of the table, and we're going to be sorting by the whole table by that value. So keep subscribe, keep engaged to the channel. I'm very, very, very grateful for the numbers that we have. I haven't put a single cent here, so I am very satisfied with the result of this channel. So thank you so much, guys, and see you in the table video. I'm gonna record it just right after this, so let's see what happens. So thank you, guys, and see you later. Let's see if it does the... Oh yeah, yeah, baby. See you.